Chris Martin, lead researcher at Glassdoor. Thank you so much for joining Tech This Out.
Thanks for having me, Walt.
So Glassdoor just did a new work from home study. Austin got on the list. What did it tell you?
Yeah, so we ranked all the metro areas in the US based on where employees are happiest with their work from home benefits, and Austin was on the list. And we saw a couple trends across these cities. So one is that these cities have commuters, right, who get to avoid commuting into the city and finding parking and all the rigmarole there. But also there's cities that have a lot of other stuff to offer. So we saw mountain towns and beach towns on the list, and it's obvious why Austin is in the mix there too, right? So it's a city with a lot of amenities, green space to utilize, coffee shops to work from, and that's what makes work from home really appealing to workers.
Is there any difference to work from home now? Are people letting down their guard a little bit, kind of enjoying the summer in these cities, or are they powering just as hard in the grind as they used to?
Yeah, great question. So we did poll a bunch of professionals, over 1,500 professionals, and we found that people do tend to dial it down in the summer. And this is a way that work from home can be extra beneficial. Is if you're a parent with kids, you know that you have responsibilities in the summertime that you maybe don't have during the school year when the kids are in school. And so we do see professionals dialing it back. And it's actually young professionals who dial it back at the highest rates. So there's also this attraction to summer. So when the sun is out, workers 18 to 24, 2/3 of them we find will secretly dial it down at work so they can enjoy the summer.
So I guess you have levels. The younger set may be trying to find a better work-life balance over the summer. Does it
Yeah,
change from there? Does the older set tend to just keep the pedal to the metal, or is there a different level?
yeah, it's a little bit lower for older workers to balance out on that average of about 50% of everyone dialing it back, but it's not dramatically so. So everyone takes the pedal off the gas or the foot off the gas during the summer a little bit.
Are you seeing any differences from work from home? You know, there was a big call back to the office, but
Yeah.
has that leveled out now? Are people kind of a little more settled into a better rhythm than that major callback?
Yeah, that's a great question, Walt. I think that work from home culture is still going to be a part of our lives and that this hybrid culture is going strong. So I looked through a bunch of reviews in Austin specifically, and we did see workers that gave really favorable ratings to their employers' work from home benefits, even though they were only working home 1 or 2 days a week. So that's certainly not what we were seeing in 2020 and 2021 when people were remote first. But there is this mix and blend of people coming to the office some days and being really happy with the flexibility to work from home 1 or 2 days a week as well.
You have so much data. What does the Austin market look like in terms of jobs? Where are the jobs going? Is it stalling? Is it still as vibrant as it was? Where are we in the Austin job market?
Yeah. So across the country, the job market has slowed down a little bit. So it's softer than it was a year ago and certainly than 3 years ago when it was historically hot. And Austin has slowed a little bit as well. So there's less job growth in Austin than there was at this point last year. But that said, while it may not be the best time to be looking for a job, Austin is one of the best places to be looking for a job at this time. So things haven't slowed down too much. The unemployment rate is lower than the national average. And there are some jobs that are actually seeing more job postings on Glassdoor this year than we saw last year. Like nurses and software engineers. There's still really strong hiring in the Austin metro for those positions.
You know, my assumption is we're pretty tech heavy. Is that true, or is it a balance between tech and hospitality and tourism?
Yeah, tech is so Austin is a tech hub, which means that relative to other places, there are more tech jobs in Austin. But the labor market in Austin is really diversified. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of healthcare. There's government jobs with the state capitol being there, and there are these tech jobs, but there's a good mix of industries and occupations in the Austin tech market.
You know, we heard a lot about quiet quitting a while back. What's the new quiet? Is there a new quiet? Is there a new trend in employment that people are dealing with?
Yeah. We talked about this trend of revenge quitting where people have been looking for new jobs, but with it being a softer labor market, people maybe haven't felt quite as free to leave their jobs as they did a few years ago. And so there's kind of this pressure cooker building in the labor market where people may feel stuck in their current job. Maybe they're not getting promoted and they're looking for other positions, but they're waiting for those positions to come available and it's a little bit slower. So when they do leave, they may be leaving with a little more energy than they had been in the past.
I see. Maybe you could call it a quiet cracking. They're not going to crack until they leave.
Yeah, and burnout too. We are seeing an increase of employees mentioning burnout in our data as well,
Huh.
which I think, to come full circle comes back to this summer. What should we do in the summer? Well, it's okay to take your foot off the gas and lean out a little bit and take the time to recover, especially if you've been feeling a lot of stress at work during the rest of the year.
Sure, it just seems typically always slow in the summer, and then we're ramping into the fall. Kids are going back to school, you have the holidays, and it feels like, you're back into that really fast-paced rhythm. What does the future look like in terms of employment across the U.S.? What is Glassdoor seeing, and what do you think are the future trends?
Yeah, good question, Walt. If I knew, you'd be the first person I told.
Okay.
There's a lot of uncertainty right now. We're not sure how policy uncertainty and uncertainty around tariffs are going to play out in labor markets. But generally, the bottom hasn't fallen out yet. And so I'm generally optimistic. I'm hopeful that we can make it through the next year without there being a recession or a spike in unemployment. But if it happens, there are certainly good reasons we could point to.
Okay, put me on speed dial. Let me know.
Sounds good. Thanks, Walt.